A matter of seconds. I have often said I believe people were in less danger in the mid 1800s traveling through Indian Territory than they are now on America's highways. I've been involved in so many fender benders I've lost count, and I was the only one with insurance. I also might add, none of them were my fault. No matter, my vehicle in most cases suffered the most. I do remember one accident though, where I suffered no damage to my old wood truck and a teenage girl paid dearly for rear-ending me at a stoplight. I had a good stout bumper and a trailer ball that stuck out longer than most. She hit my truck so hard the ball went through her grill and part of the radiator. Didn't hurt my old truck any. We were standing there talking it over. She had no insurance. I just said, let's just forget it. Seems like you've already paid enough for being at fault. We were agreeable on that arrangement and started to part company. When we looked over the southbound lane was a police officer waiting for the light to change. As soon as it did, here he came, got out of his cruiser and surveyed the situation. Apparently he didn't have any reason to keep me, so he said I could leave, and I did just that, feeling a little sympathy for the poor girl. I have no idea how the rest of it played out. I just hope she learned to pay attention to her driving. Could have been a good thing. I find it hard to believe some of the driving mishaps I've seen, not even counting the ones I was involved in. This one lady driving a Safari minivan drove over a 10 or 11 inch high wall in a parking lot. You would think she would have stopped when the front wheels went over it. She didn't. She just kept going. Water and antifreeze were pouring out of her radiator as she drove off. I've often wondered, how far did she go? Another time, I can't remember if it was a man or a woman, it's been so long, I do recollect them backing out of a parking space and hitting an aluminum light pole so hard I thought it was going to topple over. I couldn't believe it didn't go down. It teeter-tottered for a good 10 seconds before it finally stood straight up again. This one could have been really bad. About 3 or 4 inches of snow had fallen. It had turned to slush on the road. I was driving a log truck. At the bottom of the hill, the road changed to 2 lanes. I took the right lane and the car went past me going way too fast. It had big tall racing slicks on the back and really narrow tires on the front. I knew what was probably going to happen. I was right. About 50 yards in front of me, the rear of the car went sideways as he was meeting a tractor trailer coming over the hill. I thought, oh boy, this ain't going to be good. I was an eyewitness to an angel intervention. The driver of the truck wasn't about to do anything to jeopardize his big rig, so he just held it straight in his lane. I figure he must have decided hitting the car probably wouldn't be any worse than jackknifing going down the hill. I was slowing down in anticipation of having to get out of the way of it. The car made a complete turnaround. The driver regained control just as the two of them met. Yes, I would say that was what it was, an angel rescue. My wife and I both had an angel rescue as we were leaving Walmart at the northern entrance. My intentions were to cross 2 lanes and enter the 3rd lane. Everyone does it. You go south to the light, make a U-turn, turn around, and go north to wherever. I stopped short of the 1st lane and waited until all I could see was south was a white pickup that was at least 100 yards or more up the road. I crossed the 1st lane and was probably less than 3 or 4 feet from entering the 3rd lane when right smack in my face was this black car. He or she must have been doing at least 80 miles an hour. Where it came from, I cannot imagine unless it had been in that blind spot most of us have experienced before. It set in immediately, the realization of what could have been. He or she had been 1 second slower or I'd been 1 second faster, the car would have T-boned me right in the driver's side. All I can say is that God must have more for me to do.